Hey, are you ready for something totally new? Let's ring in the holiday season with a wreath tree. 5 rings all linked together by chain to make one glorious tree. Want to know how to do it? Let's get started. So here is a Christmas stand that we ordered off of Amazon. It has the little point on the inside, if you can see at the bottom of the bowl here, but I'm going to be using galvanized pipe as the center, and I need something that'll make sure that it holds to the stand. So I have a piece of PVC pipe that I've drilled a large hole through, which will go right over that little spike in the bottom, and I'm going to glue it down using Gorilla Glue. So before I do anything else, I want to get the base ready for the pole to sit in. This is a 1-inch conduit pipe that I got at the hardware store. They come in 10-foot lengths, and I had them cut it for me 6 feet long. That's as tall as the tree is going to be. So I'm going to wrap the bottom end in my press and seal paper that I love to use. I'm going to put it in the base and then fill the base with the spray foam insulation. That way the foam will rise up and support the pole in the base all the way around to the very top. That'll keep it from moving back and forth also. I'm going to do this first so that I have time for it to cure before I'm ready to move on to the next steps. Now it's time to get the pole ready for the wreaths to hang off of, and also to run electrical in the pole. In order to use my quick links, which are going to be securing the chain to the pole, I'm going to start by marking some holes about a 1/2 inch in from the very top of the pole, and I'm going to drill 4 holes using a 1/4 inch drill bit opposite each other. So on 4 sides of the pole. I'll also be drilling a hole near the bottom of the pipe. I want to make sure that there are no cords hanging in the center of the tree. So the best way to do that is to just run an electrical cord. I bought a long extension cord, and I cut off the male end that plugs into the wall. I'll be running that through the center of the pipe, leaving the female ends with the multi-plugs hanging out at the top of the tree. This is where the star will plug in and the first set of lights will plug in, which will connect all of the lights all the way around all of the wreaths through the length of the Christmas tree. This hole probably needs to be about a 1/2 inch wide so that it can accommodate the cord, because the cord needs to run through the center of the pole and out this hole over the top of the stand so that you can plug it into the wall. So I'm replacing the male end of the plug with one of these easy to wire plugs that I got at the hardware store. It's pretty simple. Once you've cut off the end, you slip it in and clamp it down, and it's ready to go. Super easy, even for someone who really doesn't have a lot of electrical experience. Now, once I've drilled those holes, I'll be attaching this gold chain that I got at the hardware store on the quick links. I bought 24 feet, but I cut them into 4 equal pieces of 5 feet in length. So from the top of the tree to where it hangs about 1 foot off the floor is 5 feet long. I have some left over, which I'll use later on. So after all of this is done and I've fully assembled the tree as a dry fitting, what I will do is take it all apart again and spray paint the center pole gold. I like this Rust-Oleum metallic finish. It's the best metallic finish that I've found. And the reason I'm going to take the tree apart again and do it all over again is so that I don't muck up the shiny gold paint. After it dries, I'll be ready to slip it in, put the tree back on the pole, and we're ready to start decorating. These beautiful wreaths all came from the hobby store, and I'm using 5 concentric rings, starting with a 48-inch wide ring at the very bottom and working our way up to the smallest. Now, once we get to the very top under the star, I'm also using some garland and wrapping it around. That'll conceal the base of the star, but also the plug where the star plugs in and all of the lights start. The wreath is laying on its face, and I have marked 4 points for the 4 chains in the wire frame. I have used zip ties to mark exactly where I want my chains to go, and I've still left the little tails on. That way I can find them easily, because we're going to flip this over, put it over the pole, and then attach the chain. So we'll repeat this same process with all of the wreaths, all of the layers, and then link them as we go. The next step is to put our quick links through the chain, and then we're going to find where on the wire frame of the wreath that we're going to connect them. Each wreath is spaced about 12 inches apart, and what I'm doing is counting the links from the very top to make sure that all of the quick links are attached at the same spot on each chain so that every wreath hangs level. The next layer is ready to go on, and this time I've got it marked on the inside ring of the frame because it's going to slot over like this, and it will actually be attached to the inside ring, not the outside ring like the bottom ring. Okay, 4 rings up, 1 left to go. Because the inside of the smallest wreath is larger than where the chain meets up at the top of the tree, I use 2 links in 4 places to attach it to the chain. This allows it to float a little bit off the chain and still hang level with the rest of the wreaths. Okay. Woo. I am worn out. So I started with LED lights on the tree, which of course plug in at the very top. And I wound lights around that first little ring that I created using greenery, and then skipped down to the first wreath. This is a set of 50 lights. Once I had wrapped all of those lights around the topper and that first wreath, I used the end of the cord to jump from one wreath to the next. The wire barely shows wrapped around the chain. I used another set of 50 lights on that second ring. Then skipped down to the third ring where I used 100 lights. The fourth ring had 150 lights, and the big one at the bottom has 200 lights total wrapped around the wreath. So all the lights on the tree is like 10,000. I can't do the math. Which I think is 550 lights altogether, but don't do the math. That's why I cracked. I decided to use a dowel rod and have the star clip onto that because it's meant to clip onto the top of a Christmas tree, but since there isn't one, I had to create one. And I wrapped garland around the dowel rod so it's covered in greenery. Comment below, what theme would you use to decorate your wreath tree? Thanks for watching. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday.